The second thing I'm going to do, I have requested the president that I want to speak to the National Security Council. The National Security Council is the body which discusses the overall thing in a bigger context. Because if there's something maybe I'm not understanding as Minister of Justice, I think I need to be told. So he has okayed it generally. So I hope to go there and tell them what we look like in the public eye and so on. After all, the highest rank according to our constitution is that of citizen. You see, the fact that, do people understand what it means to be a citizen? You see, as opposed to subjects, because subjects don't have rights. Citizens have rights. Of course, they have responsibilities. Aaron Kiza should know that you are safer arguing with a real general. You know, you're arguing with a court orderly. That is common sense for your own safety. You must also, whatever happens, in principle, the purpose of a court martial is to discipline members of the armed forces. I heard General Nalweso saying that Colonel Besigye is not a civilian, that he belongs to the reserve force, and their commander is Lieutenant General Charles Otema. So, technically, according to her, he is being tried at the proper address. That is what they are talking about. Now, my final take is really that we need this trial to proceed. These antics, the delaying things, the drama are totally unnecessary. Now, I do not know whether when the court takes a break, they go to consult the president. I am going to ask him. Yeah, I need to ask him that an allegation has been made in public that the court martial takes a break to ask your opinion.
It's a regulation.
I think if the court martial wanted to ask the president's opinion, I think they would first go on with the trial and then discuss if they really want to involve him. But those are not normal procedures of any court. Just like if a high court judge is trying a case, I don't think they'll keep calling the Chief Justice. How should they decide? It is totally unacceptable. It is like if you, Timothy, during the break, you call the managing director of UBC. How is it going? What question should I ask? I would never return to such a talk show because I know you are just another jukebox.
Never know what he said.
Well, the earpieces normally are supposed to guide you in terms of managing time,
yes,
restraining certain characters, and so on. But we have a problem of a political culture. If the law society itself start acting on a law without even proposing an amendment, if the law society wakes up and says, the presence of the Attorney General on the Law Council undermines our independence, so we hereby evict him, but the law still remains, you lose your moral authority. It is okay to say you want to cut down the law, but don't forget the argument between Thomas More and Mr. Roper in A Man for All Seasons. Mr. Roper said, if I'm pursuing the devil, I'll cut through all the laws in England until I get to the devil. And Thomas More said, and if the devil turns around and starts chasing you, now there are no laws to protect you. So the court martial, those people, gentlemen of the court martial, should know that they are also potential candidates. Yes, everybody can be a potential candidate. These are the two things I want to promise our viewers. Number one, next month we are holding final consultations on the National Action Plan for Human Rights. we are going to involve everybody, the law society and so on. We need to have an action plan. Personal liberty is paramount. As a matter of fact, my own view is that the courts of law should prioritize matters of personal liberty. If there's a bail application, it should be heard the first thing in the morning before you start these other cases of other quarrels and so on. Secondly, the courts have no excuse. We have increased the numbers. Parliament has helped us. It has a huge budget. Their office facilities are the most comfortable of any group. Restaurants, saunas, jacuzzi, steam bath, name it. It's there. Even the courtrooms are so majestic. The court martial actually doesn't look like a court. When you go there, yes, they also need, you know, when you arrive for trial, first of all, you must be awed by what you see. Do you see cathedrals? Mm-hmm. When you enter a cathedral, whether you believe in God or not, you talk in quieter tones, even if you're an atheist. So the general court martial should improve its image, the way they behave. Secondly, they must really be professional.
Okay.
We pride ourselves in wanting to build a professional army. Now, a professional army, if you come to the gate, you should introduce yourself. Secondly, for the duration of the trial, you should get a card which clears you. The way when I go to a meeting of the UN, if I'm there for a week representing the Uganda government, I have an ID, which the people at the gate, I show it to them. So why don't they do those little things, okay, so that they stop arguing? And you know, the low-ranking soldiers at the gate are extremely rude. One time they beat up Honorable Geala Tigo, Honorable Regan Okumu, because they walk through the quarter guard in their shoes. I understand.
What?
I understand either you're supposed to stop. They have their regulation, which civilians don't understand. Then they started arguing with them. I also once had an argument somewhere on the Gulu Highway. But I had to run very quickly to a higher ranking officer. So, Aaron Kiza should know that you are safer arguing with a real general. You know, you're arguing with a court orderly. That is common sense for your own safety. You must also do that. The second thing I'm going to do, I have requested the president that I want to speak to the National Security Council. The National Security Council is the body which discusses the overall thing in a bigger context. Because if there's something maybe I'm not understanding as Minister of Justice, I think I need to be told. So he has okayed it generally. So I hope to go there and tell them what we look like in the public eye and so on. After all, the highest rank, according to our constitution, is that of citizen. You see, the fact that, do people understand what it means to be a citizen? You see, as opposed to subjects, because subjects don't have rights. Citizens have rights. Of course, they have responsibilities. So Ugandans need a new reorientation. The other day, my son was telling me they were having a prayer. Then their pastor said, "Pray for your LC1." None of them knew the name of the LC1 chairman. Okay, pray for your LC2. None of them knew. Pray for your councillor. The citizens are totally disconnected from the people who are closest to them, because the people who are closest to them are not the ATMs. It is better for them to know the MPs like Honorable Wakajara, because you call him, I have a sick patient. But otherwise, the best thing would have been to walk to the... No, that is how the voters treat the politician.
Lastly, Honorable Minister.
I am not a big fan of laws. The biggest problem in Uganda is not actually laws.
Okay.
It is to change the culture. So when I get the opportunity, I'll give feedback. Meanwhile, I urge all those who are interested in human rights to participate in the discussion on the National Action Plan for Human Rights. Remember, even President Biden was blasting us that Uganda doesn't have a National Action Plan for Human Rights.
Okay.
We now have a final draft. We are going to discuss it in a consultative manner with the public, take it to cabinet, then it will be rolled out. But citizens must continue insisting that what is in the Constitution is non-negotiable.